Picture this, a man in the Judean wilderness alone, no food, no shelter, just sand, stone, and silence, 40 days, 40 nights. The Bible tells you Jesus fasted in the desert. What it does not tell you is what those 40 days did to his body. What happened to his immune system, what occurred in his cells, what transformed in his consciousness, and why that specific duration was not symbolic but biological. A precise calculation that unlocks something in human physiology that most people will never access. Right now, before we go any further, subscribe to this channel. Because what you are about to learn has been studied in isolation chambers, in medical labs, in monasteries, and in classified military experiments. And after tonight, you will never think about fasting the same way again. You have been told that Jesus fasted to resist temptation, that he went without food to prove his spiritual strength, that the 40 days was a test of willpower. But what if I told you the fasting was not the test? What if the fasting was the preparation? What if those 40 days were the exact amount of time needed to trigger a complete reset of the human immune system, to activate dormant genetic codes, and to alter brain chemistry in ways that modern science is only beginning to understand? Take a deep breath right now. In through your nose, hold it, release completely. What I am about to share with you is not religion, it is biology, it is neuroscience. It is the hidden mechanism behind why prophets, mystics, and spiritual masters across every culture have used prolonged fasting as the doorway to expanded consciousness. And the number 40 appears again and again. Moses on Mount Sinai, 40 days, Elijah in the wilderness, 40 days, Buddha beneath the Bodhi tree, close to 40 days. Mohammed in the cave, 40 days of seclusion. This is not coincidence. This is code written into the very structure of human cellular regeneration. Let me take you inside what happens to the human body when food stops coming. Most people think fasting is just deprivation. They think you get weak, tired, sick, and for the first few days that is partially true, your body panics. It has been trained to expect glucose every few hours. It has become dependent on external fuel, so when the food stops it sends distress signals. Hunger pangs, irritability, headaches, fatigue. This is not your body failing. This is your body withdrawing from its addiction to constant feeding. Because here is what they never taught you. Your body has two fuel systems. The first system runs on glucose, sugar from food. This is the system most people use their entire lives. It is fast-burning, inefficient, and keeps you locked in a cycle of constant consumption. The second system runs on ketones, fat converted into energy at the cellular level. This system is clean burning, sustainable, and it does something the glucose system cannot do. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and feeds your brain directly. Around day 3 of fasting, something shifts. Your body stops begging for food. The hunger disappears, not because you are starving but because you have switched fuel sources. You have gone from glucose dependence to ketone adaptation. And this is where it gets extraordinary. Ketones do not just fuel your brain, they change it. Studies from Johns Hopkins, from the National Institutes of Health, from research labs across the world have confirmed what the mystics knew thousands of years ago. Ketones increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. This is the protein responsible for growing new brain cells, for forming new neural connections, for rewiring thought patterns that have been locked in place for decades. When Jesus emerged from that desert, he did not just have willpower, he had a biologically upgraded brain. But we're just getting started. Let us go deeper. By day 7 of fasting, your immune system begins to do something remarkable. Your white blood cell count drops. Now, to a conventional doctor, this sounds dangerous. Fewer white blood cells means weakened immunity, right? Wrong. What is actually happening is your body is clearing out old, damaged, and inefficient immune cells. It is taking out the trash. This process is called autophagy. And it is one of the most powerful healing mechanisms your body possesses. Autophagy means self-eating. Your cells begin to consume their own damaged components, misfolded proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, precancerous cells, all the cellular garbage that accumulates from years of constant eating, environmental toxins, and stress. Fasting does not weaken your immune system, fasting cleans it. Nobel Prize-winning research by Yoshinori Osumi confirmed that autophagy is triggered by fasting. And the longer the fast, the deeper the cleaning. But here is the key. Autophagy reaches maximum intensity between days 5 and 7. After that, it plateaus. The real transformation, the complete immune reset, happens between day 10 and day 40. Let me explain what occurs during this window. Your body enters what researchers call deep ketosis. Your ketone levels are now 4 to 6 times higher than normal. Your brain is running on premium fuel. Your mental clarity is sharp. Your focus is laser precise. And something else is happening beneath the surface. Your stem cells activate. Stem cells are your body's repair crew. They can become any type of cell your body needs: immune cells, brain cells, organ tissue. But under normal conditions, stem cells stay dormant. They wait. What wakes them up? Prolonged fasting. Research from USC published in the journal Cell Stem Cell showed that fasting for as little as 3 days can regenerate the entire immune system. But the study noted something critical. The longer the fast, the more complete the regeneration. At 40 days, you are not just cleaning your immune system, you are rebooting it from the ground up. Old immune cells die off, stem cells activate, and your body begins producing fresh, highly functional white blood cells that are more effective at fighting disease, identifying threats, and maintaining balance. Now let us talk about what this did to Jesus specifically. He was not just fasting, he was fasting in the wilderness, no shelter, temperature extremes, physical stress. This adds another layer. Controlled stress under fasting conditions triggers what is called hormesis. Small doses of stress that make the body stronger, heat, cold, hunger. These are not punishments, they are signals that tell your cells adapt, strengthen, evolve. Jesus was not retreating from the world. He was systematically upgrading his biology. But there is something even more profound happening during a 40-day fast. Something that modern science has only recently begun to measure. Your brain starts producing significantly higher levels of serotonin and dopamine, not from food, not from external stimulation. From within, fasting increases the sensitivity of neurotransmitter receptors, meaning the serotonin and dopamine you do produce has a much stronger effect. This is why people who complete long fasts report feelings of euphoria, of deep peace, of connection to something greater than themselves. They are not imagining it, their brain chemistry has fundamentally changed. There's also a dramatic increase in human growth hormone. Studies show that HGH levels can increase by up to 2,000% during an extended fast. Human growth hormone protects muscle mass, accelerates fat burning, and promotes cellular repair. At 40 days, Jesus was not wasting away. He was becoming biologically optimized. His body was leaner, stronger, more resilient. His mind was clearer, sharper, more focused. And his immune system was completely renewed. Now let me take you into what happens in the gut. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria, some beneficial, some harmful. Most people carry an overgrowth of harmful bacteria fed by sugar, processed food, and constant eating. During a fast, the harmful bacteria starve. They need sugar to survive. When the sugar stops, they die off. Meanwhile, the beneficial bacteria, the ones that produce vitamins, regulate mood, and support immune function, these bacteria thrive in the fasting environment. By day 40, your gut microbiome has completely transformed. You have gone from a diseased ecosystem to a balanced, thriving environment. And because 70% of your immune system is located in your gut, this transformation directly upgrades your immunity. Let us go even deeper, into the cellular powerhouses, your mitochondria. These are the structures inside your cells that produce energy. Most people have damaged, inefficient mitochondria from years of poor diet and toxin exposure. Fasting triggers a process called mitophagy, similar to autophagy but specific to mitochondria. Your cells identify and destroy damaged mitochondria. Then, through a process called mitochondrial biogenesis, they create new, healthy mitochondria. More mitochondria means more energy, more resilience, more capacity to handle stress. Jesus did not emerge from the desert exhausted, he emerged energized. His cells were producing energy at levels most people never experience. There's also something happening in the brain that nobody talks about: the pineal gland. This small, pinecone-shaped gland in the center of your brain produces melatonin, regulates sleep, and according to mystics across history, serves as the seat of spiritual vision. During prolonged fasting, the pineal gland becomes more active. It begins producing higher levels of DMT, dimethyltryptamine, the same compound found in ayahuasca and other visionary plants. Your body produces this naturally, but it is usually in trace amounts. Fasting amplifies production. This is not speculation. Research by Dr. Rick Strassman and others has shown that extreme physiological states, including fasting, near-death experiences, and deep meditation, increase endogenous DMT. What does this mean practically? It means Jesus was not just physically transformed. His perception was expanded. He was seeing reality through a different lens. And the visions he experienced in the desert, the temptations, the spiritual battles, these were not metaphors. They were real perceptual experiences triggered by his altered neurochemistry. Now let us address the immune system more directly. What makes the 40-day mark so significant? Why not 30 days? Why not 50? The answer lies in cellular cycles. Your body replaces most of its cells on a regular schedule. Skin cells every 2 to 3 weeks, red blood cells every 4 months, but immune cells, specifically T cells and B cells, have varying lifespans. Some last weeks, some last months. A 40-day fast ensures that you have moved through at least one complete cycle of immune cell turnover. Every old, exhausted, dysfunctional immune cell has been cleared, and every new immune cell being produced is born into a clean, optimized environment. You have effectively hit the reset button. There is also something profound happening with inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the root of nearly every modern disease. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, autoimmune conditions, Alzheimer's, all linked to inflammation. What causes inflammation? Constant eating, processed foods, sugar, stress, toxins. Your immune system is in a perpetual state of emergency, fighting fires that never stop. Fasting turns off the alarm. It gives your immune system permission to stand down. Inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, and tumor necrosis factor alpha all drop dramatically during extended fasting. By day 40, systemic inflammation is nearly eliminated. Your immune system is no longer in crisis mode. It is in maintenance mode, calm, efficient, ready. Let me tell you what happened when researchers tried to replicate this. In controlled studies, participants who fasted for extended periods showed remarkable changes: improved insulin sensitivity, lowered blood pressure, reduced cholesterol, enhanced cognitive function, but the most striking result was immune regeneration. Patients undergoing chemotherapy, which destroys the immune system, were able to rebuild healthy immune function faster when they fasted before and after treatment. Fasting protected healthy cells while allowing damaged cells to die off. The body knew exactly what to keep and what to discard. This is not starvation. This is intelligent biological renovation. Now let us talk about what happens in the brain during those 40 days. Your brain is approximately 2% of your body weight but consumes 20% of your energy. Under normal conditions, it runs on glucose, but glucose is a dirty fuel. It produces oxidative stress, free radicals, cellular damage. Ketones, on the other hand, burn clean. They produce fewer free radicals and provide more energy per molecule. On a 40-day fast, your brain is running exclusively on ketones. It is faster, sharper, more resilient, and something else is happening. The brain begins pruning unnecessary neural connections and strengthening important ones. This is called synaptic pruning. It is how your brain optimizes itself. Fasting accelerates this process. Thoughts become clearer, emotions become more stable, mental fog disappears. Jesus did not just survive 40 days without food. He emerged with a mind operating at a level most humans never access. There is also a hormonal reset occurring. Insulin, the hormone that regulates blood sugar, drops to minimal levels. This is crucial. High insulin is linked to weight gain, diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. 40 days of fasting brings insulin down to baseline. Your cells become incredibly sensitive to insulin again, meaning when you do eat, your body uses food efficiently instead of storing it as fat. Leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, also resets. Most people have leptin resistance from years of overeating. Their brain does not hear the signal that they are full. Fasting restores leptin sensitivity. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, normalizes. After the initial withdrawal phase, ghrelin stops spiking erratically. Hunger becomes a gentle signal, not a desperate craving. Let us also examine what happens to the nervous system. Most people live in chronic sympathetic activation, fight or flight, stress, anxiety, constant alertness. This state is exhausting. It drains the adrenal glands, it weakens immunity, it accelerates aging. Fasting shifts you into parasympathetic dominance, rest and digest, healing, regeneration. Your heart rate variability improves, your sleep deepens, your body finally gets the signal that it is safe to repair itself. Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness, but he was not in survival mode the entire time. After the initial adaptation, his body entered deep rest, deep healing, deep recalibration. Now I want to address the spiritual component, because you cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. They are the same system. Every religion, every mystical tradition, every ancient wisdom teaching includes fasting, not as punishment, not as deprivation, but as technology to access states of consciousness that are otherwise unreachable. When your body is not spending energy digesting food, that energy redirects. It moves upward, into the brain, into higher centers of awareness. Fasting is not about denial, it is about redirection. You stop feeding the body so you can feed the spirit. Jesus fasted for 40 days and then he was tempted. Tempted with food, with power, with safety. Why? Because fasting does not eliminate desire, it clarifies it. It strips away the superficial wants and reveals the core drives. The temptations Jesus faced were not external demons, they were internal examinations. What do you truly want? What are you willing to sacrifice? What will you serve? Fasting creates the clarity needed to answer those questions honestly. Here is what most people miss. The 40 days were not about resisting food, they were about becoming independent of food, independent of external conditions, independent of the need for constant comfort and security. At the end of 40 days, Jesus was no longer controlled by hunger. He was no longer a slave to his appetites. He had reclaimed sovereignty over his own biology, and that sovereignty is what gave him the power to heal, to teach, to transform. Because you cannot give what you do not have, you cannot free others if you are still in chains. Let me bring this into the modern context. You live in a world designed to keep you fed. Constantly, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. You are told this is normal, healthy, necessary, but it is not. It is a trap that keeps you dependent on food, dependent on corporations, dependent on a medical system that profits from your sickness. Fasting breaks the dependency. It proves that you do not need what you have been told you need. And that realization is dangerous to systems built on your compliance. The immune reset that occurs during a 40-day fast is not just physical. It is psychological, emotional, spiritual. You are resetting your entire relationship with your body, with consumption, with control. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than you believed, more resilient, more capable, and that proof changes everything. Now let us get practical. What would happen if you fasted for 40 days today? First, you would need medical supervision. This is not something you do casually. Your body would go through the same stages Jesus experienced: initial hunger, withdrawal, adaptation, ketosis, autophagy, immune regeneration, mental clarity, emotional release, spiritual expansion. But you would also face challenges he did not mention: social pressure, people telling you it is dangerous, doctors warning you against it, your own mind resisting, because fasting exposes every addiction, every attachment, every fear. It brings everything to the surface, and that is exactly why it works. Studies on prolonged fasting show that people who complete extended fasts report lasting changes, not just physically but in how they see themselves, how they relate to food, how they handle stress. They describe it as a before and after moment. Before the fast, they were one person. After, they're someone different, stronger, clearer, more connected. This is what happened to Jesus. He went into the desert as a carpenter. He came out as a healer. The 40 days did not just change his body. They changed his identity. Let me also tell you what happens to disease during a 40-day fast. Cancer cells cannot survive without glucose. They lack the metabolic flexibility to run on ketones. So when you fast, you starve cancer while feeding healthy cells. Autoimmune conditions improve because the immune system stops attacking the body and starts cleaning house. Chronic pain decreases because inflammation drops. Mental illness improves because neurotransmitter balance restores. Fasting does not cure everything, but it creates the conditions for the body to heal itself, and that is something no drug can replicate. There is also a detoxification process happening. Your liver, kidneys, lymphatic system all working overtime to eliminate stored toxins, heavy metals, pesticides, chemicals, all the garbage you have accumulated from years of living in a polluted world. Fasting gives your body the space to purge. You might feel worse before you feel better: headaches, fatigue, skin breakouts. This is not failure, this is release. Your body is cleaning itself from the inside out. By day 40, you are not the same person. Your cells are different, your immune system is different, your brain is different. You have undergone a biological and spiritual metamorphosis. And when you finally eat again, food tastes different, feels different. You do not crave junk, you crave nourishment, real food, clean food. Your body has remembered what it actually needs. Jesus broke his fast and continued his mission. He did not return to normal life, he stepped into his purpose. The 40 days were not the destination, they were the preparation. Now here is the truth they do not want you to know. You have the same biology Jesus had, the same immune system, the same brain, the same capacity for regeneration. The 40 days are not reserved for prophets and mystics. They are available to anyone willing to undergo the process. Fasting is not a miracle. It is a mechanism, a biological mechanism that has been built into your body since birth. You just forgot how to use it. If this information has activated something in you, comment the words, "I am ready to reset." Let others know you understand. Subscribe to this channel because the teachings that follow go even deeper. Like this video so it reaches those who are searching. 40 days, complete immune regeneration, total neurological upgrade, full spiritual awakening. Jesus did not do it to show off. He did it to show the way. Now you know what those 40 days actually accomplish. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge?